What's up? Good morning, everybody. It's time to rise and shred with the one, the only, the Hawaii-ishly looking Jacob Gaffney this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday morning. We're coming at you a little late, and there's a good reason for that. We're going to get into it, but the Great Resignation is upon us. Work from home. What the is going on there? We're going to talk about that. And what Fannie and Freddie can actually afford. So much to talk about this morning. You are not going to want to miss a single minute of it. Share this out. Lots of fun to talk about. You guys ready? I know I'm ready. Jacob's ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to rise and shred. StreamYard moved everything on me this morning. I got to tell you this. There's a lot of shit that happened this morning, Jacob. But my biggest thing I'm pretty sure I got hacked. Like, I'm legit. I'm pretty sure my computer got hacked. Like, this is I was talking with my dad. I was talking with IT. I'm pretty sure my computer got hacked. A bunch of my files were moved to my computer. There were programs open that I didn't know what they were. My entire Microsoft suite was erased. I had to reload a whole bunch of stuff. My Discord was gone. I'm like, oh crap. Did I get hacked in one way or another? So, there's that to deal with. But that's how I started my morning after some other stuff. But before we get into so many stories, Jacob, how was your week? You're looking very Hawaii-ish this morning. You're looking just bright. I love it.
Well, it's the end of summer, but only on the calendar.
Right.
Summer is a state of mind, and as far as I'm concerned, there are good things happening, interesting happening. You were busy this morning, though, I bet, right? It's a fun time out in Utah, from what I understand. A good morning out there. Tell me, why don't you tell everybody why we were late coming on? Why we're normally an hour earlier.
I want to tell everybody why we're late, but just this here. You want to know some local news here in Utah?
I do.
We are officially the world's worst air quality here in Salt Lake City. Literally got rated number 1 in the worst air quality. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hold the applause. We have so many wildfires going on around us, and because Salt Lake is this bowl, literally like it's a bowl. If you've ever flown into Salt Lake Valley, you've seen it. The smoke gets trapped in our valley and can't get out. You walk outside and it feels like you're walking into like a fire pit. Like your eyes are breathing in. Like, people should wear a mask just for that because it's terrible. But this morning, actually, the good news was I got to take my kids to school. It's back to school day. And that was fun. Got to drop them off. Me and my wife dropped the kids off. That's kind of like our last year. Of course, we didn't do it because of COVID, but we took them to school, dropped them off, took some fun pictures, and now day 1, 2021, back to school. So yeah, that's why our show was a little late this morning, ladies and gentlemen, is we were taking time. That's what we do. You got to take time to enjoy the small things, the little things in life, and we were dropping the kids off at school this morning. So,
well, there's a lot more people out there who are free of the shackles of employment, and they can go and drop off their kids, pick up their kids, go and have lunch with their kids, and spend a lot more time with their kids, because we are seeing larger numbers of the workforce quitting than ever before, Josh.
Yikes.
In my 10 plus years covering economic trends, I don't think I've seen anything quite like this. But everyone is telling their bosses a big F you. I'm not dealing with it. And it's almost exclusive. I'm talking hundreds of thousands of gainfully employed Americans are walking away from their jobs.
That's crazy. Why?
Well, I will tell you why. There's a lot of reasons. Okay. And there's the thing that no one's going to talk about is, of course, the automation, right? So a lot of forward-facing roles are being automated, clerks, bank tellers, these sorts of things, right? People who tend to, this is what I think, okay, and this is a psychological thing we can get into, because Goldman Sachs especially deals a lot with the psychology of the economy. We can talk about that later. Yeah. But people are rude, Josh. People are super rude right now, and the people who are quitting tend to have face-to-face type roles. Waiters, quitting like never before. You know what? You tip like crap anyway. I'm not putting up with this. I'm gone. Right? Yep. We talked halfway through the pandemic about why you should be a big tipper, right?
Agreed.
I mean, there's a lot more going on. People aren't putting up with it. And it's not just like this huge rebellion. It's just people are holding themselves to a higher standard of how their employees treat them. You know, you'll put up with a lot with the public dissing you, okay, if your workplace co-peers and especially your managers treat you well. So you don't quit jobs where you have a shoulder to cry on, where you feel like you could go and talk to a manager, be like, oh, can you hang on one more week, Bob? You know, I know they're rough out there, but look, put yourself in their shoes. You know, lettuce has doubled in the last 2 weeks, you know, and the father of 5 out there is going to be struggling. He's a little pissed off. He's just taking it out on you. Don't worry about it, Bob. It's not about you. They're like, no, they're not doing that. For whatever reasons, managers aren't doing anything to keep their workers. And it has been officially labeled by economists the Great Resignation. And there's just going to be help wanted signs everywhere. I'm sure it's like that in your neck of the woods, right?
100%. Well, and this is literally something I had a lot of people know that I'm involved with our youth community here in our small town. I talk about it quite often, and I had some of them over last night, and we were talking about this. We have seen more help wanted signs in our local community, like everybody across the gamut, from local restaurants to construction to everything. Everybody is, and these kids, I mean, to what you are talking about, some of them have had 3 or 4 jobs over the summer because they're just like, I just feel like nobody cares about me. Like, and a young kid, especially as they're entering the workforce, Jacob, if they don't feel like you said, they have a shoulder to cry on, or somebody who cares about them, they're piecing out. They're like, I'll go find something else. I'll go do something else. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's been the types of positions that have long been neglected. But also they're the types of positions that have long had common civility coming from their customer base. So there's more and more Karens out there speaking their mind. There's more and more people who want to get into a fight over whether or not someone requires you to wear a mask to go into the business in the first place. It wears you down, Josh. It wears you down. And until we can start being nicer to each other, I'm afraid these numbers are not going to improve. And service is going to be slower at restaurants because there's fewer waiters, and that's going to make you angrier because your pad thai hasn't come and the shrimp's missing because they don't have the same amount of chefs. And what the hell is this? I'm not paying $50 for this. Let's go. And you know, it's just escalating and it's out of control. A lot of economists, like I mentioned, Goldman Sachs, they've mentioned the impact this has essentially with the Delta variant coming in as well, and mask mandates becoming an issue, vaccines becoming an issue, and everyone thinking that it's a good idea to go and protest. And if someone's protesting against what their ideas are and they're protesting across the street, then there's clashes and all that. And then you think you're going to go into a coffee shop, sit down, order a coffee, and be nice. No, it's not going to happen. So,
wow. Holy smokes. Wrap all your head around that, ladies and gentlemen.
Lots to unpack.
I say lots to unpack there, but the fact of the matter is just be nice to each other. Like if we could just be nicer, do your part, ladies and gentlemen. When your food is going to take longer. I experienced that. I told you we had back to school night on Thursday. We went to our favorite local restaurant after that. It was busy. And I mean, it took probably 35, 40 minutes to get our order, and it was wrong. Like it was, and she we know the owner personally. She's an amazing woman. She dropped she came to our table, dropped our order off, and just like, guys, this is we've never experienced anything like this. We can't keep people here. We can't keep our chefs here. So just be nice out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that the moment where you take out your gun and put it on the table in order to get faster service?
Set it on the table. I'm like, come on, people, let's get. Oh man, but it is. We have to be kind. We have to be respectful. All you out there, especially you mortgage and real estate professionals, put yourself in their shoes. Like, could you be behind the desk? Could you be on the fry cook back there making it happen? I guarantee most of you couldn't, nor would you. So be patient, be understanding.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. We have to do a better job of getting along. I will tell you that one other very, very interesting development that we saw last week is that office work has returned. We are getting close to pre-pandemic levels where people are going back to the office. We were concerned, that the office as an asset class, as a place to go for real estate investments, was going to dry up like 6 months ago. That was a blip. No one really believed that for long. Offices are back. People are back in the office. Only 25% of the workforce, it was said, and dropping, did a telecommute, did a remote work thing. And there are several reasons for this. And it's very interesting because on the frontline worker front, We thought, well, we'll raise the wages and we'll get workers. Didn't work, right? $12 an hour, not going to work for you. $15 an hour, not going to work for you. Now we're seeing like, oh, if you don't offer me work from home, I'm just going to go somewhere else and work somewhere else. That's not working anymore anyway. So this whole worker revolution that we saw on both the front line and the professional level it's just not panning out the way we'd hoped. Workers are losing a lot of their negotiating power with their bosses, and the bosses are now more and more asking them to come back to work in a way that is not really asking, if you know what I mean.
I gotcha.
They're kind of saying like,
wink, wink.
Okay, you've had your fun. Work from home has dropped to quarterly around 13% less. So, I mean, these were up May of last year, more than half. Okay, more than half of all the people work from home. Okay, something nuts, like nearly 60% of people may. It's now dipped. That number is now dipped well below 20%, probably more, around 13% of people are working from home. And there's a very good reason for that, Josh. Do you want to know what it is?
Of course I do.
It's money.
Always money, man.
You want to work from home full time, Josh? Guess what? Give me back a quarter of your salary.
Whoa. Sheesh.
This is what we're seeing. We are told that Google has a pay calculator algorithm that is internal only. I haven't seen it. I've looked for it. I mean, I'm curious. But okay, so say you work for Google, Josh. You want to stay in Utah, so you could go in and put in your salary, put in your location, declare that you're going to be work from home, and it's going to drop your salary to what you can expect to start getting paid if you decide to stay home.
Interesting.
So that's how, and they've made it really very undemocratic, I will say. Like, it used to be fun that we could negotiate our salaries and work out a deal and all that, but they've went and made it all data driven, and that just kind of took the fun out of everything. But it is what it is. Other companies are saying you have to get vaccinated, you have to come in. I know quite a few companies in our space. We don't name and shame people in our space, of course, but we know of companies that are saying you have to get vaccinated, you have to come back, and everybody is following suit. One of the reasons why we cover the big banks, Josh, is it seems that whatever the big banks are doing, oftentimes we're not far behind. Right. So, Morgan Stanley and all them, they said you got to get vaccinated, come back in, and we know that not as publicly, but Rocket and United Wholesale and all of them started doing the same, right? So we know these things, and I just name dropped them. Sorry, oops, but
my bad.
But I mean, I don't think it's a big secret at this point that work from home is losing favor.
No, the fact you mentioned UWM, United Wholesale, they actually did not require vaccination. I was talking with them last week, but they are 100% back. Everybody, they're up to 10,000 employees. They're all back. They're all back in office. They're all working. So there's plenty of companies out there doing it. Whether, interesting enough, like I said, I was talking with some local CEOs of big tech corporations here in Utah, and it's divided. Half are going to say, no, you got to be back in office. Half are saying, hey, you got to come back and you have to be vaccinated. So who the freak knows, dude? Who knows? But I think only time will tell. Who knows with this Delta variant? Honestly, Jacob, it'll really be interesting too to see this whole, hey, we're working from home. Now we're going back in the office. If we have to go back again to work from home, man, it's going to mess people up mentally. Like, it's going to be a mess.
And it could be, let's say half of United Wholesale mortgages, they fall down. I mean, that's like half the population of Pontiac. If there could be a major health crisis happen if they all catch COVID because we gave them the freedom to not get vaccinated, that could happen. What if that plays out across many municipalities? This Delta variant is being considered by economists how it could adversely impact the economy. And that's in a lot of the models now where they are modeling and Rise and Shred every day. You can, of course, be up on it. But I can tell you there are two entities that will be just fine should there be a Delta variant collapse of the economy.
And who are they, Jacob?
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Imagine that. Really?
They are swimming in money. They are like lighting their cigars with $100 bills and sitting on top, they're like the Joker sitting on top piles of cash and just burning it in the end because they are so well capitalized. Even in a severe adverse economic scenario, they're only going to lose a fraction of what they lost before. They're very well capitalized. This was something that I was surprised to see didn't get a whole lot of coverage. Only the American Banker wrote an article about it besides Rise&Shred, which mentioned it, leaning a lot on the American Banker's insight. It was really good, but they are all steady. So if anybody's worried about a shakeup of the housing finance system, it is extremely unlikely to happen in a major scale that we saw before. Now, we've seen signs of the housing market cooling. So we have this Delta variant coming. We have a lot of people on different sides of the fence, and we're fighting with each other. But I just want everyone to know, and to finish on a high note, our financing infrastructure appears to be intact and is not going anywhere.
We are A-okay in that regards, right, Jacob?
We're doing good. So that's a positive.
I say that's a positive, good note to end on. Fannie and Freddie, they're doing all right, ladies and gentlemen. Now that you mentioned that Joker, now I have that scene from Batman in my head where he's just standing on the cash, sliding down there, and he just lights it ablaze.
Right.
We're not saying don't do that, ladies and gentlemen, but Fannie and Freddie are doing okay, and that's good news for all of us, ladies and gentlemen. So many great discussions today, so many more to come. Guys, if you don't subscribe, the link is literally below. You're missing out on the daily diary of the mortgage industry. We shared this and so much more. The things that you need to know, the things that are absolutely important, like what we've shared today. And they're great discussion points. They're phenomenal opportunity to get involved with your audience, which we talk about. Subscribe below to the one, the only daily diary of the mortgage industry. Jacob Gaffney, ladies and gentlemen, always from Gaffney Austin, joining us this morning. We appreciate his expertise, his insights. Every single Monday morning, we are here. Sometimes we're a little bit late because sometimes we got kids. Sometimes we got things going on. But we will always bring you the best of the best in the mortgage industry. Jacob, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.